This is Danielle Jones. Shout out to Swirv TV, the Clutch Guys.
Hey, the Clutch Guys. Yeah.
In the Clutch Sports Podcast, DJ Swirv Deniro, Toot Trill, M Dollars, Coach G. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow us on Instagram at In the Clutch SP.
So speaking, that moment, me and Swirv always talk about watershed moments in your life that's, life changing, kind of taking a different direction sometimes. So, you gotta, share this, because the story is very inspirational, very motivating, that you and your nephew experienced, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, I don't. December 27, 2008 was a major turning point in my life. I never thought that this would even be a part of my story. But it happened to be that way, so here we go. I was in my home. I had, let me back up some. I was married, so this is my second marriage, and I was married to someone else that beginning of that year. So I actually was getting divorced that beginning of the year. So it was a transition. There was a lot going on. I decided I want to go out and purchase me a house in my late 20s. Went to Hopewell, purchased my house there, moved my sister in. There about 6 months. And I went home one day, had my nephew with me, and we walked in the home, getting ready for church the next day, and I hear a knock on the door, boom, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's 9 o'clock at night, and I had just left my parents' house. Right. And I'm like, this is not good. It's dark out here. Who is knocking on my door? And so I walked in the house, and I was, when I had the alarm, the person that set our alarm system, he told me, if something happens, go straight down the middle, set the silent alarm, and I did that. Well, while I was doing it and I was coming from the door, they said, let me in. I was just like, oh my God. So I told my nephew to go and hide somewhere. And they kicked the door in. Two black males kicked the door in and was running behind me with the AR-15 machine gun behind my head. Wow. And in that moment, I was just like, oh my God, what is going on? So I couldn't think to do anything but run into the laundry room. And my back door, you need a key. So I was like, if I go upstairs, like, they're going to get me. So I didn't have anywhere else to go. So I went into the laundry room and I stood up standing straight up. And I felt the first shot, boom. And I was like, wow, this is where I'm ending. Wow. Yeah, and this is it.
That's crazy. And
then I felt the second one. And I was just like, wow. And I'm still standing at this point, and I'm like, all I could think about was where my nephew, not about me, right, but just like where my nephew was. So when I thought the coast was clear and the alarm was,
oh, so the alarm was going off.
Alarm was going off. It's a whole war zone.
Wow.
And the alarm was going off, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I walked out of the room. I didn't know if they were gone, and it was filled with smoke from the gas powered bullets, and all I was thinking about was where's my nephew. He appeared, and I looked at him, and I said, hey. And at this point, I'm just, I'm losing blood, so I'm dying at this point. And I said, hey, I love you. And I said, don't ever forget that. He's 8 years old at this time. And he experienced his aunt, being shot. And wow. So I said, hey, I love you, call 911. And he said, okay. He was really good. And then I placed myself on the floor, and I found my phone, and I called my parents, and I said, hey, I just got shot, and the phone hung up. So the second time around, I called again, and I said, hey, I just got shot. My brother answered the phone. He was like, Danielle. And I was just like, I love y'all. Take care of everybody. And I'm just, gasping for air at this point. And I'm just grateful to be here. I really am. Just, talking about the story. Mm-hmm. And so I laid there, and at that point I started seeing stars, and I was just like, yeah. So immediately I laid there, and I was just like, God, I'm not ready to go. And I just started praying, and I was just like, God, I'm not ready to go. I really want to see my family become who you said that they were going to be. And that's what held me on. And I just made things right, and I laid there, and my hearing started to leave, and I started to see stars. They came and got me, rushed me to the emergency room. Meanwhile, my parents, they were following behind me. Now, 2 weeks before that, my dad fell 2 stories from a building. So my mom is at home nursing him back to health. He has a back brace on. So he's at home. She has to put him in a car and get people to come over and help. And he's coming down to the emergency room to see his daughter. And so as they pull up, they see me naked in the ambulance. And my dad told my mom, don't look. And they're pulling me out. They take me down. And I'm alert this whole time. So I remember every single thing. I'm watching the lights go down. They're asking me how old I am, just to keep me alert.
Right.
And at this point, I was just like, I was just like, I'm tired of answering your questions. I'm over, I'm over it. And then from then on, honestly, that was where that journey began. And everything was shut down. My kidneys shut down. Everything you can imagine was shut down. So they called everyone to come in and pray, because at that point it was just like, we don't really know what she's gonna, what's gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a hell of a story.
That's crazy.
That's a hell of a story, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that's one of them stories that got to me.
That's just chills.
Just to know somebody personally that went through that.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it's put you on a different path. I mean, Sean's been just talking about. I mean, of course, we was outside talking about you. Doing your practices. So you working with, athletes. Of course, I heard about a nonprofit. So it's a lot of things that's happened since then. So what's happened since then? Once you got back on track.
Yeah. So absolutely, I never really stopped. Just working with people. I am a mentor, and I love to motivate people. So I always do that. I feel like nothing is ever over till you're in the grave, and I just love encouraging people when they feel like they're down and out, because that's the story of my life. Like, so many things have closed, but so many things have opened up. And so I said, why not create like a nonprofit? And I created Rebound, in which I'm still working on, where I can help provide mental health support, and I can help provide mentoring and resources. I go and just talk to people and just encourage them. And so that's my nonprofit. It's just rebounding. It's not over. You can get back up at the worst situation when anybody has counted you out. And I'm just like, that's the essence of me. So I just started working in that, and even being in and out the hospital. My leg was amputated in January because for 13 years of having a leg, it was poisoning me. And I had to stand up and say, I don't want it anymore. They were going to keep on piecing it together. And I had a major surgery. And for a year, the wounds never closed. And I told the doctor, if I come back in this hospital, you're going to cut my leg. But it was like God prepared me for this 3 years ago, because I used to joke around with my doctor and say, can I cut my leg off? And he was like, no, you're too young. And I used to joke about it to make myself feel comfortable with it.
Right.
And it was like God said, well, I'm ready when you're ready. So when you're ready to cut this off, that's your miracle right there. And you're going to be able to move on with your life. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as the leg was cut off and I had some setbacks, I am free now. Like, I'm able to walk around and I think it's just the beginning. Like, I have a new life at 41 years old.
Wow.
Salute to you on that.
Salute to you.
No excuses.
Yeah.
No, it's really no excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses.
At all.
And your story definitely motivated, because I know other people might have went through something similar, but it's definitely motivating, and you didn't give up.
Yeah. I didn't give up when they shot me. I was just like, no, it's still fighting me. I didn't give up when other people may have given up, because you shouldn't. There's still life left. It doesn't matter what it looked like. It doesn't. I helped, I pushed my kids. I still ran a family. It didn't matter what I went through. I was just like, no, I'm not dying.
I know that's right.
And I just feel like, this is a motto that I had, that if I went through this and God decided to let me live, and I chose to be negative, and I chose to live a life of that I'm not going to strive, then I should have just died right there on the floor. Mm-hmm. So, like, you have to choose what you want to do. It's your choice. Like, you going to get up and fight, or you going to lay down and just, give up?
We all got choices.
Yeah, we have choices.
Most definitely. Now, I also seen You also wrote a book. You also wrote a book, a children's book, and you made your 2 sons co-authors.
Yes.
That's very big. I mean, what inspired you to, want to create a children's book, and what inspired you to just make them co-authors with you?
So I want to write a book about my life, and that was a place that I just researched, and I was like, I'm going to start here. And I also wanted to motivate black boys, my 2 black boys, that they can do anything that they put their minds to. And it did exactly what I thought. To have a book that says, I got your back. And it just journeyed through when they were children to, adults, to say, no matter what you go through, I will be there. And it's just a message to send to black boys and girls. And I turned around and ended up doing a girls version of it. So I have 2 books.
Wow, okay.
And it's just illustrated, very nice, few words, but it's the message behind it that as you're down, if you're up, like, I'll be here for you. So I wanted them to be inspired. And then they was like, we're authors. And I was like, you sure are. and they was like, we can do anything. And I said, you sure can. And that was really my motivation behind it.
Oh, wow.
Is to encourage them and they can encourage other people.
And how old were they when you co-authors?
5 and 6. Because there's,
wow.
5 and 7 or something like that. It was last year sometime.
And they playing sports now too, right? So how'd that been, being coach mom, what I'm saying, to your son? What sports they playing?
Well, I'm just team mom, but I be coaching,
okay.
But they're playing football right now. Yeah. They're playing football right now for Glen Lee.
And shout out to Glen Lee.
Yes, and they actually play for my oldest plays for Havoc, which is a basketball AAU team.
Okay.
So they're pretty busy. So. Wow. They were able to see me get inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's priceless.
Oh, how'd they feel? Like,
they didn't know what was going on. They had no idea.
They're gonna know though. They're gonna brag on their mama later though.
Yeah, they're gonna know. They're gonna see the medals and stuff like that. And they honestly don't know what happened to me now. But the oldest one is starting to say, I'm old enough now. Is it basketball? Something else happened. And I'm like, you're not ready yet. So he doesn't know. But what is amazing about it is I'm glad that one day they're going to see that their mom powered through all of these obstacles.
Most definitely.
And it's going to be like a moment of like, Mom, like, how did you, and I was still positive throughout it all. Like,
most definitely.
I cried sometimes. I was happy, so I was still very much going through my through. But they're going to see one day, like, Mom, how in the world did you? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you too. How did it affect your nephew? Like I don't.
Yeah,
at
my
that point, and now
okay.
he's older, so
he's okay. He's 22 now.
So
Wow.
you remember everything.
He went through therapy. He he's good now. It really, it didn't take a negative spin in his life, which is good.
That's wonderful.
But he still remembers, and he's like, I saved your life. And I said, yep, you did.
He's your angel.
You did.
Wow.
And I'm glad that they didn't touch him. So
definitely.
That's a blessing.
That's a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
It was awesome, yeah.
Well, you kind of answered my question about legacy. I mean, you already said it. So the next question I want to ask, we always do this with the guys. We always have these top 5s of all time, right? So we want to ask you, like, we never broke down our women in basketball.
We did, because we both have our top 5.
Oh, wow.
So we want you to give us before you go,
your all time.
Well, I already named some of them.
Right. I
named Lisa Leslie, and I named Rebecca Lobo. Ooh. And I named also it's coming to me. Of course, Cheryl
Swoops, the legend.
And it was Tina was it Tina Thompson that wore the red lipstick?
Yeah, Tina Thompson, Houston Comets.
She was like that.
Yeah.
And of course my girl Dawn Staley.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
So I used to watch them. Yeah, those are the top 5, honestly, that I would say that that are staples that I watched when they were starting up the whole league.
Right.
What girls were dreaming about that. So yeah.
Okay. Did you watch men's basketball? Because we said you have a top 5 men's. You think all time?
I can take a stab at it. Shaq, because my position.
Okay.
He didn't know how to shoot free throws, but that's okay.
Did you shoot free throws?
I did.
Okay.
I think I was a little over half, percentage wise.
Okay.
Of course, we have the infamous, like the rebounders. What's his name? With the tattoos.
Dennis Rodman.
Yes.
Okay.
He
The
was
Worm.
good. Yes, of course, Karl Malone.
Oh yeah,
Karl
Karl
Malone.
Malone, legend.
And of course, we always say Michael Jordan.
You
but
gotta say MJ. I mean, that's kind of default.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
and good old Scotty.
Oh, Mr.
Wow.
Pippen. Okay, wow. Okay.
That's
Oh,
an
wow.
interesting.
I used to watch them.
I
Yeah.
got one more question for you.
Okay.
So, to all the little girls, and boys too, but especially the young girls that's
Still my
coming up,
question.
that's trying. See, I didn't even know that. That's aspiring to play basketball. What what information would you give them, or what would you tell them? You know what I'm saying, to help them stay on this path, and maybe one day get to where you what you accomplish.
Just be dedicated. Stay focused. Don't let people get in your ears and say what they think you don't have. Because if this is something that you want, you're gonna work for it. Stay dedicated. Practice all the time. Work on, everything. Watch film, and just get around people that have the like mind that want to go where you want to go. That's what I would say. Just stay motivated. Yeah.
Okay. And with your book, what is the name of it, and where can they find it?
Well, it's called I Got Your Back, and I have an I Got Your Back too. It's on. I can post it later because I can't really think of.
We're gonna have that for y'all.
Yeah,
too.
we'll have it
We're
for
gonna
you.
have that for y'all.
But yeah, definitely you can purchase those, or you can follow me and I'll deliver them to you. So.
Well, I mean, I think that's it. It's an honor and a pleasure. We appreciate you
Absolutely.
taking your time out of your busy schedule to grace us. And this is the first female we've had on the sports podcast, so that's a moment. And this is the first time we use Lonnie B Studio. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him as well.
Thank you, Bizzle.
And we just
Thank
appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
And any events you have upcoming with your nonprofit, let us know so we can pull up and
Big facts.
and talk to you and get footage and just support, because we all about supporting, and we just want to give people we consider legends not only on the court but off the court as well.
Yeah.
We want to give you your flowers, and that's what we want to do today.
I appreciate that. I appreciate both of y'all, all of y'all, for actually letting me sit here and speak. Because I want to do more of this. So I thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, it's our pleasure, most definitely.
Yep.
Well, I'm Coach G,
Swirv Deniro.
and that's a wrap, y'all.
The Clutch Guys. We'll see you next
Clutch
episode.
Guys.
The Clutch Guys.
What you guys think in the comment section? Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's go. Notification gang. Hey.